Good evening. I'm Lama with the Tues edition of South Asian News, Vision of Asia. We are coming to you from our studio in New York City. Welcome to the show. Let's begin the episode taking a look at the coronavirus pandemic and its impact. The world has surpassed 219 million cases of COVID-19 with more than 4 million deaths. Here in the United States, we are at more than 42 million cases of COVID-19 and have now surpassed 676,000 deaths in the nation. COVID has now killed as many Americans as the 1913 Spanish flu. The somber number of deaths is a reminder that the pandemic is not over and that it is even more important now to get your COVID-19 vaccine. Visit vaccines.gov to schedule your appointment. Also on vaccines, talking about Pfizer, the company has said that its vaccine is safe for children 5 to 11. The company will now need to request the FDA for authorization for the children. Meanwhile, in politics, President Joe Biden today mapped out a new era of vigorous competition without Cold War in his first United Nations address. The president promised restraint from the U.S. military and new commitments to cope with climate change, along with the push on democratic systems. With this, let's now take a look at the headlines coming in, covering much on COVID-19 updates and the return of Broadway. Here are the headlines. Pfizer says COVID-19 vaccine safe and effective for children 5 to 11. Dr. Rachana Kulkarni, New York. Disney on Broadway returns with The Lion King and Aladdin, featuring Jonathan Freeman and Bonita J. Hamilton, New York City. Ananda Mandir unveils Rabindranath Tagore's statue in Somerset, New Jersey. It's time for a short break on Vision of Asia South Asian News segment. We'll be back shortly. And welcome back. I'm Lama and this is Vision of Asia, Tuesday night episode of South Asian News. On coronavirus updates and measures, cases continue to rise across the nation, ravaging through unvaccinated communities. So far, only 54% of the population have been fully vaccinated, leaving a good chunk still unvaccinated. Experts and doctors are pleading all to get vaccinated. On vaccines, Pfizer BioNTech have announced that its vaccine on a lower dose is safe and effective in children ages 5 to 11. This comes as cases in children have been increasing exponentially, especially with schools back in session in person. If authorized by the Food and Drug Administration, the vaccine could be a game changer in getting out of this pandemic with over 28 million children in that age group. But only time will tell how many parents actually get their kids vaccinated. Also on this, Johnson & Johnson has announced that a booster dose of its vaccine provides 94% protection against moderate to severe COVID-19 disease. This aligns with the findings on the booster dose of COVID-19 vaccine by Moderna and Pfizer. On this and much more, we spoke with Dr. Rachana Kulkarni. Here is Dr. Kulkarni. So while talking about the flu shot and the third booster shot, they're going to sort of fall around the same time. Do we need to have any gap, or could we take it at the same time or a day after the other? What's your recommendation?
At this point, the recommendations are that it will be advisable to have a 2-week gap between the flu shot and the third booster shot. Flu shots are being available now, so my recommendation is get the flu shots, wait for 2 weeks, and then get your third shot. The reason is that we don't know how everyone reacts to either the flu shot and the booster shot. So it's better for us. It's easier on the bodies also to space them apart with 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. My last question to you, actually, I'd like to know your prediction for the next month or so. We have about 54% of population vaccinated, fully vaccinated so far. Do you see that number grow, and what's going to happen with these case numbers that we keep on seeing go up?
That's a huge concern for us. So I'll share with you that in June, we had less than 200 cases of COVID. At this point, after the July 4th holiday and after the summer, our average cases at this point are 2,100. Wow. So in the few months, we have seen a tenfold increase. And this will continue if we continue to have big gatherings, big surges, and a bunch of vaccinated and unvaccinated people getting together.
Yeah.
I do understand that for economy, for our overall economic as well as mental health, things need to open up. We need to have some sense of normalcy. So at this point, getting completely encouraging as many people to get vaccinated, including children, is the way to overcome this obstacle.
Rabindranath Tagore was a Bengali poet, a writer, social reformer, and a philosopher, and has been credited to reshaping Bengali literature and music, as well as Indian art with contextual modernism in late 19th and early 20th centuries. He was the first non-European to have won the Nobel Prize in Literature for his collection of poems Gitanjali. He modernized Bengali art, and his novels, stories, dance dramas, and essays spoke to topics political and personal. Two of his compositions later became Indian national anthems, Jan Gan Man and Amar Shonar Bangla. The Sri Lankan national anthem was also inspired by his work. Recently, a statue of Rabindranath Tagore was unveiled at the Ananda Mandir in New Jersey. Catering to the Bengali Indian community, the event saw followers of the temple and the community leaders. Attending the unveiling also in support was ITV Gold's chairman, Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parekh. Here is the story.
It's truly an honor for me to be present in this function where we're going to unveil the statue of Rabindranath Tagore. I've had this privilege before of being in several other functions in various other parts of the world, including in Havana, where we put a bust of Tagore close to the sea, for he was an internationalist. He looked to the world, he was of the world. But today is very special. We are bringing Tagore to one of the most diverse states in the United States. And we are bringing Tagore to link the largest democracy in the world with the oldest democracy in the world. And for that reason, it is Tagore, the internationalist, Tagore, the polymath, Tagore, the naturalist, essayist, educationist. You know, he was everything rolled into one. He belonged to India, he belonged to Bangladesh, and he belonged to the world. To all our viewers of ITV Gold, a very warm namaste from here, Anand Mandir in Somerset, New Jersey. We are gathered here to unveil the statue of Rabindranath Tagore. It's a great pride for us that we are part of this beautiful celebration, and hope his blessings, his teachings will continue to guide us in building a better tomorrow for all of us. Thank you.
I'm so happy to be here with you today because we are celebrating a great artist, but we are also celebrating something that is beautiful about the United States and about New Jersey, as the Consul General alluded. We are celebrating this great community as a meeting place of cultures, as a place where people who come from 1,000 different places around the world can come together, learn from each other, and recognize that our diversity is our strength, not a source of conflict or difference.
I'm so happy that this statue of Rabindranath Tagore will be here for generations as an inspiration for everybody who comes to this beautiful temple. It's a reminder of something that is beautiful about America and beautiful about New Jersey, that this is a diverse community that brings people from dozens of different cultures and parts of the world together so that we can learn from each other, so that we can celebrate our diversity as a source of strength.
The temple being here didn't happen by accident. Lots of beautiful people, part of the planning and construction, the finances, but lots of beautiful people in Franklin Township. We want you to come to Franklin Township. Bring your jobs, bring your children, bring your businesses, and of course, bring your faith and your beauty. Back then, I didn't know that I was going to be in politics. If I become the mayor of your hearts, that's good enough for me. But so happens I got into politics along the way. But I did not come up here alone. I have a team. Now, at the top of the team is Congressman Malinowski. He is critical to be always elected to office. If you have questions about that, please go back to Google, January 6th, Washington, D.C. Tom Malinowski is the man that we need to make sure gets elected. But also next to me, I started off with Rajiv Prasad, who makes sure I'm at the temple every time. He's also the one that tells me things that I had to say in the different languages and the culture, and I got so many outfits at home. I can't believe I'm in an American suit.
I would like to congratulate Santosh Mukherjee and his team for such a beautiful temple. You know, I'm here for last 50 years, but the first time I came to see the complete whole thing, you know. And when Rabindranath Tagore is my most favorite guru. And I'm glad that you invited me, and I thank you for that. And our good friend Mukherjee, he's doing such a great work, and I would like to see him one time mayor of the Jersey City, and more. And Assemblyman Joe Daniel, welcome to our temple.
Thank you.
And this is a real has a lot of history here. I'm sure Raj will tell you exactly what how long that history is. And what we are going to inaugurate is a Nobel laureate in 17th century. Is it? Am I right or wrong? Much later. 18th century or 19th century, right? Yeah. 1941. Yeah. So anyway, congratulations everyone, and always you can count. Yes, and you can always count on Parikh Valwal Media and ITV Gold. And we are going to open up the new studio here on Big Cinema. We acquired that whole thing. Yeah, so we'll have TV studio. That's right. And we're going to have 300-seater auditorium there. So any function you want to do, you are a guest and welcome.
It's an honor to be here. This temple is right around the corner from my house. And I was proud, I was one of the planning board members who approved this temple to be here with extra consideration for your parking lot and everything else. But to be surrounded by such nice, beautiful people on a commemorative day like this, to celebrate the intellectual work and life's work of what I consider a genius is today, there's nothing like today. Thank you.
Today we have an unveiling ceremony of a bronze life-size statue brought from Kolkata of Rabindranath Tagore. We have a lot of dignitaries coming, including our Consul General of India, Mr. Randy Jaiswal, and also U.S. Congressman Tom Malinowski from District 7.
It's a privilege to be here in Franklin and celebrate and commemorate the legacy of Rabindranath Tagore. As not only a South Asian American, but as a Bengali, the contributions of Robi Thakur, of Rabindranath Tagore, to the world, to literature and music and the arts and his geopolitical observations, they're especially relevant as we are all trying to recover from a global pandemic, because Tagore lost his youngest son to cholera, and he endured several epidemics in Calcutta. So it's great to be here and celebrate this with the growing Asian American diaspora in New Jersey.
We are proud to be an Indian associated with Bengalis. I have a lot of friends in Bengal, and this is a great event to celebrate the legacy of Rabindranath Tagore. And the contribution of the poet Tagore is immense, not only just the national anthem, but also all the stories and short plays that he wrote. There's a lot of internal messages that he tells us through his stories. And in fact, Netflix has a series right now going on, and I highly recommend everybody to watch that. And we are happy to celebrate his legacy today. Thank you.
Rabindranath Tagore has been one of my favorite heroes. I grew up in India, and we always looked up to him. And today, this event is going to make sure that our next generation realizes how important our roots are, what we can learn. And I think the effort made here by Joy Biswas and all his committee, I want to give them kudos. This is how our next generation will learn, and we want to make sure they come out, they understand our history, our culture, and they are our future leaders.
I'm here because I grew up in Bengal, and Rabindranath Tagore, of course, is the lifeblood of Bengal, where, you know, people consider him to be the equivalent of William Shakespeare. And he's also the equivalent of Benjamin Franklin, because in the independence movement, he was the old man. Wisdom and direction to Gandhi even was given by him, and he was the soul of India, talking about caste system and everything else, and was an educator. He actually taught Indira Gandhi at Shantiniketan. She was educated at Shantiniketan. So those are all the accomplishments, and he was worldwide traveler, also had the Nobel Prize for literature for translating Gitanjali.
Well, it's now time for another short break on Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back. I'm Aditi Lama, and this is Vision of Asia South Asian News segment. Broadway in New York City is finally back after an unprecedented 18-month shutdown of the theater industry. This was the longest shutdown in Broadway history. Recently, the very popular Tony-winning Disney musical The Lion King reopened to its audience with a stellar show bringing back the joy of theater. Approaching its 24 years on Broadway, The Lion King, produced by Disney Theatrical Productions, has been one of the most watched stage musicals in the world and has been seen by nearly 110 million people. The Lion King's worldwide gross exceeds any of films, Broadway show, and other entertainment title in box office history. With that, the coming back of the show was met with much enthusiasm and lots of cheers. Also coming back to Broadway is Aladdin on September 28th by Disney, and hopes to continue this positive spirit of performing arts in New York City going. We spoke to the cast of both The Lion King and Aladdin ahead of their return to the stage at the New Amsterdam Theatre. We have tonight a conversation with Bonita J. Hamilton, who plays Shenzi on The Lion King, and popular actor Jonathan Freeman, who plays Jafar on Aladdin. Here is the segment. Well, you are watching ITV Gold, everyone. I'm your host, Lati Lama, and right now, again, we are with the cast of Aladdin and The Lion King. So let's go right into it and ask a lot of questions to some of the amazing cast here. My first question to you, both of you, has to be, Broadway's finally back, and it's been a long time. Everyone's looking forward to it. There is this need for some kind of happiness, entertainment, some kind of joy. What are you both looking forward to the most on that very first day, of the production? What do you want to see from the audience?
I'm looking forward to the reaction when the curtain rises, the smoke comes up, and Sidi Manye sings that first note of the Circle of Life. It's always breathtaking. It's always awe-inspiring. And I just love to see the faces. I see grown men cry during that. So, yeah. And the energy that's going to fill the room.
Yes, of course. I can only imagine that. Ooh, goosebumps. Yeah. What about you?
I think the same. I'm looking forward to the energy in the room, and I'm also looking forward to the first few notes of the overture because it's very familiar to people, and I think as soon as they hear it, it's going to be like a wall of excitement for us. So I'm assuming it will be for them too.
Definitely. In terms of your characters, both of you play very interesting characters. I would love to know what is the most difficult aspect of playing your character, and what do you do to sort of overcome that? Because I'm sure there must be something that always troubles an actor, lets them not sleep at night sometimes, you know. What is that for you guys?
Well, I think mine is two parts. I deal with a puppet, a 30-pound puppet. So that will be the first challenge, which, you know, after you've done it, you know, Julie calls it the double event, where the puppet takes on your emotions and you take on the puppet's emotions. And then the other thing would be, what did I say, the puppet, and then the other thing would, I just lost my thought. It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm here. Okay, so it's the challenge would be the puppet and it is the puppet. She lives in me. It's the puppet.
I like what did you say? The double emotion?
Oh, the double event. It's the double event. The puppet. It's something else that I wanted to say. Ask me the question one more time.
What's the most difficult aspect of playing your character? What is the most difficult part?
There it is. And she's a villain, right? Yes. And I love playing a villain, but one of the most difficult things about Shenzi is she is also the comic relief, but also being scary. Yeah. So you don't know where she's coming from. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Where's the line over there?
Where is the line? Because she can laugh, and then she's going to eat you up.
Yeah.
So that's what that is.
With this, we wrap up our show for the night. Please send us your suggestions and get your voices and organizations on our show. Email us on events@itvgold.com or follow us on our Facebook handle @itvgold. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for free access to many of our popular shows. Thank you for joining us tonight from Queens, New York. This is Vision of Asia, and I am Aditi Lamba. Take care and be well.